Bob Marley was the third world's first superstar. Through his music, the rhythms of Jamaican reggae resonated in households around the globe. And this son of an English army captain and a Jamaican girl took on the mantle of legend. The wild dreadlocks, the marijuana smoking appealed to the world's press. But Marley was more important than his image. So who was this natural mystic man with a gentle voice and revolution in his songs?
Bob wanted to be successful. Bob really looked at himself as more as a missionary than a performing artist. He never liked the term superstar. He never liked the word star. He looked at himself as doing a job, as performing, passing out a gospel that the gift was given to him by God to pass out. He never really looked at himself as a recording artist. He looked at himself as somebody selling a lifestyle, a belief, and stuff like that.
Bob Marley lived by the teachings of Rastafarianism. When he died at the height of his powers, his funeral attracted as big a crowd as his concerts. But above all, it celebrated his devotion to the Rastafari Church with its message of individual righteousness and its belief that Haile Selassie of Ethiopia was the reincarnation of the true God. The religion was treated with suspicion and hostility in Jamaica. Marley's success gave it respectability. Endorsed by the presence at the funeral of the leaders of both the main political parties, who were quick to honor a national hero.
Of his many musical creations, it may be said that special places are reserved for four. Trenchtown Rock, the symbol of his life. No Woman, No Cry, his comforting hand of compassion. One Love, his vision of peace and unity. And Rastaman Vibrations, his deep mystical faith.
He's one of those rare figures that come along perhaps once in a generation, who by some chemistry of themselves, their own genius, takes what is up to then just a folk form and makes it a part of the universal art of the world. That Bob was not by temperament or mind the kind of person who would ever become, say, a part of a party. Bob wasn't at that length, at that level, or that wavelength at all. Political, yes, in that he was one of the most articulate troubadours of the ghetto, its suffering, its pressures, that I have ever heard. And the interesting thing about him is that as he grew in stature, as he became a millionaire, for example, one often wondered, will he tend to go soft, to become gimmicky, to try to appeal to a more commercial market by compromising his statement. And instead, he remained absolutely uncompromising. The range of his interests grew. Said he would sing of Zimbabwe as well as Trenchtown in Jamaica. But the concern remained absolutely the same, uncompromisingly the same.
A corrugated mass of shanty homes divided by ghetto politics and scarred by battles. Trenchtown, Kingston, a town within a town that held for Marley the inspiration that fired his music. It was here that he came to live with his mother and formed his first band, the Wailing Wailers.
At that time, Trenchtown was in the beginning and still today is like a jungle. It's a place where you have a group of people that really and truly that their hopes of surviving in life is very slim and none. So it's like a boiling pot. I think that will, today it will explode, tomorrow it won't explode. You know, it's that kind of thing.
You mean you want to tell me that people really don't need people? Come on! You don't tell me that.
Music flourished in the ghetto. It had its dark sides, like the hustlers, the rip-off record deals, and the random violence. Yet it provided a creative outlet, a chance of escape. In this yard, Marley would play, alone or with any musician who drifted by. Others would hang around and the songs would be hammered out, as they are still doing here today.
Those who pretend they're gonna lose their best friend. Those who pretend they're gonna lose their best friend. Those who pretend they're gonna lose their best friend. Those who
Bob had a lot of leadership. He had a lot of conviction. He was a very good person that when you got to know him, you could learn a lot from him, and he strived for perfection. That's what I found different about him. When he does things, he tries to evoke the best possible out of him. He never tries to cheat anyone by cheating himself. In other words, why Bob was so creative and wouldn't copy other people's tunes, because he said, like, why the sense doing somebody's tunes like you don't believe in yourself? If you believe in yourself, then you must create. So things like this, Bob was very inspiring for me.
I'm telling you, rebel music. I begin to say, rebel music. Oh, why can't we roll the open country? Oh, why can't we be what we wanna be? We want to be free, yeah. 3 o'clock in the red. Not a roadblock, Lord, like how you said. And I've got to throw away. Yes, I've got to throw away. Yes, I've got to throw away my little herb stalk. I'm telling you, rebel music. I begin to say.
In the years that followed, Marley pulled together some of the best musicians in Jamaica. His female backing group, Judy Mowat, Rita Marley, his wife, and Marcia Griffiths were collectively known as the I3s.
His message was mainly for the, it's for the oppressed, political and otherwise. It's a reality, things that people feel and live daily. And this is why I think they respond so much to it, to his message in particular, because it's an everyday thing that people feel, and it's a struggle. And it's not that people like to be reminded of depression, but it gives them more strength and upliftment to know that they are not alone in this, and at least there's someone who is there trying to pull, make a headway, so all this can be remedied soon.
Get up, stand up for your right. So get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. 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 Don't give up the fight, no. Don't give up the fight. Don't give up the fight. Sick and tired of your hism schism. Trying to go to heaven in a hism schism. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And now you see the light. Stand up for your right. Ooh-oy. Ooh-oy, yo, yo, yo. Oh-yo. Oh-yo, yo, yo, yo. Oh-yo. Oh-yo, yo, yo, yo. Oh-yo. Oh-yo, yo, yo, yo. Children, stand up for your right. Stand up for your right. Stand up for your right. Stand up for your right.
The message was simple and effective. Yet both the Message and Marley got dangerously entangled in the Jamaican elections of 1976. Michael Manley's left-wing government found itself facing economic collapse. A deep split with America had opened up over Manley's friendship with Cuba and the newly formed revolutionary government of Maurice Bishop of Grenada. Near civil war broke out as gangs from the rival parties clashed in a wave of killings. As a national figure, Marley found himself drawn unwillingly into politics. His sympathy lay with Manley, yet he hoped his music might heal the bitterness. Instead, it nearly got him killed.
It was in December 1976. It had to be around September. I drove to Hope Road, where's Bob's home, 56 Hope Road, where his studio was, to see him. So we're sitting in the yard, and I said to him, why don't we do something this Christmas, since we're not going out of the country, to make some money, and he put on some Christmas morning shows. And Bob's statements to me were, I really don't want to make any more money off the Jamaican people. So let's do something for free so everybody can come, because at that time the country was in a turmoil, people were down. So he says, let's do something for free. And so we went to see the Prime Minister and gave him our idea. The Prime Minister was then Michael Manley. We asked him not to make it political, and he said he wouldn't, but then it became political. And then we started getting messages like from the opposition. They didn't want it held at Jamaica House, and they didn't want it held here, and then finally, on the Friday, December the 3rd, I got a message saying that they didn't want a concert, period. So I told them to tell the opposition party that if they have something to talk to me about, they send for me, they come and talk to me, but I don't take messages from messenger boys. Well, that was it, and that night, we're in the house, and the gunshots started firing. And everybody was caught by surprise. It was strictly off guard. It was a very professional assault. It wasn't an amateur assault, a very professional assault. We've had several explanations. We have been explained to by the Prime Minister of Jamaica that it was a mixture of the CIA and the local opposition party in trying to uproot then the Prime Minister. We've gotten explanations of that. The fact that he got out of the incident without being bruised with all the shots fired at him made him really believe that he was a worker of God.
Bob goes to prove that he's a Rasta man, and he's ordained by God himself. He wasn't a worldly man. He wasn't a man of this world, really. He wasn't a man of material. He's more like a spiritual man, and he had a work to do, and he has done it very well. And set a pace and an example for us, especially the blacks and struggle coming from the ghetto. So Bob is a master, Rasta man.
The peace concert, when it finally happened 2 years later, was everything Marley had hoped for. The high point of the evening came when Siaga and Manley joined Marley on stage, clasping hands in a symbol of peace. He was undergoing a transformation, from cult hero to international superstar. For Marley, it was a turning point in his career.
I think his consciousness on money was beyond where a lot of people would have thought it to be. In this, I remember in the early years when Marley got proposition to tour. He got a proposition at the same time. I think Toots should tour with The Who, and Marley was supposed to tour with the Rolling Stones. I think Marley turned down the tour and played for like 500 and 600 seaters. And Toots played for the crowds that were like 60,000 and more. But what it did, it allowed Marley to build his own audience.
In 1980, the new nation of Zimbabwe came into being. Bob Marley and the Wailers were invited to perform at the official Independence Day celebrations in Salisbury by the new Prime Minister, Robert Mugabe. For Marley, it was the highest honor that could be offered. His songs had been an inspiration to the guerrilla forces in their struggle for independence. And now he was in Africa, playing live to those very men and women with whom he had expressed solidarity.
Marley and myself were sitting in Hope Road one night. Two guys came. They said they were coming from halfway around the world to see Marley. there were two guerrillas who were fighting on the war front, and they had just finished fighting. Zimbabwe had gotten her independence, and they had come to Jamaica to see Marley because they would be honored if Marley came and played for their independence. They said, when we were losing the war, it was your music that won it. He said, for your prime minister and members of government, we sent them a letter of invitation. For you, Marley, we come personally.
Oh, yeah.
Marley was coming on stage at 11 o'clock, and went on stage, and after the third tune, there was confusion, total confusion. People were running from everywhere. And we realized what was happening. There was tear gas coming over the walls of the stadium. The people were rushing. And we realized at that time that when he had played I Shot the Sheriff, and in the middle of this song, there was a prisoner of war camp, which was like a few chains away. And hearing Marley singing, the prisoners, 7,000 of them, broke jail. So they were intending on coming into the stadium. At that time, they threw the tear gas at them, which blew back, because the band, everybody had to run, had to retreat, because it was, burning in eyes and stuff. Anyway, the guys broke down the gate, they came in, and they sat down, they got a standing ovation, because they were the guys who actually fought, They were still in jail,
Rule equality, yeah. Wipe away transgression. Set the captives free. Set the captives free now. Set the captives free. Set the captives free, y'all. Set the captives free. Set the captives free. Set the captives free, yeah. Set.
After the successful concerts in Zimbabwe, Marley's sights were once again set on Europe, where the fans were ready.
I felt that we tried to create an environment when we moved. As I said, it was a tour. I mean, pretty much in the same way that you have Billy Graham or Oral Roberts. Because at times we were in Australia and we were neck and neck with Billy Graham and we were drawing bigger crowd.
Well, the 1980 tour, I guess, must have gone on in history as one of the most successful tours of any group in Europe. I am on that tour, which was handled by Alec Leslie Enterprise. Marley, I think, broke all the gate receipts of Europe at that time. We had in Milan over 100,000 people. And they were just sold out audience right across Europe. That was thought of after the tour, that no longer Marley could play indoors. He would have to be playing like on football fields and in big stadiums. He linked people together. And that recognition had come about, you know. Marley offered hope to a lot of people, whether they were white or black. For instance, on that last album, Uprising, he said, coming from the cold, why look so sad and downhearted, you know? When one door is closed, another is open, you know? And I think this is the influence which he had on people. He gave them a lot of hope. That was why Marley, I think, got so big.
The triumphant progress continued. An American tour was planned starting in New York, but few people knew how little time Bob Marley had to live.
We discovered he was ill at the same time when he himself knew. This was on the American tour. First one was at the Madison Square Garden, and we were now on our way to Pittsburgh. When we reached there, he was missing. When we called back to find out, we hear that he had gotten a stroke in the park, and he went to get some tests, and they were very negative. So this was when everyone knew that he was really sick. And the following night, he did perform just the same, and that was the last show that he ever did in Pittsburgh.
How did he cope with the knowledge that he had cancer?
Well, I can tell you that he was very positive. With all what was going on, he just had a strong belief. And I'm telling you now that all of this was what kept him going and alive for so long, because of his faith and his positive belief that he would recover. He never did thought about anything like death.
Bob Marley was 36 when he died. The extensive treatment for cancer in New York and Bavaria had failed. When he knew there was no cure, he decided to come home to Jamaica and died on the way in Miami. Thousands attended the funeral, and his sons Ziggy and Stevie joined the I-3s and the Wailers on stage. For the believers of Rastafari, there is no death.
Bob lives because his spirit is strong, and to me, he's even more stronger, wherein you are drawn to more attention. You are more important, because they say when people pass on, you sort of miss or lost what they were really, sharing or giving. So his spirit is even more dominant to us, the family. We share a spiritual life with him, which is natural. It's just that we can't see him, but we are sure that he lives.
I remember when we used to sit in the government yard in Trenchtown, and then Georgie would make the firelight as it was logwood burning through the night. while I'm gone. Hey, everything is gonna be alright. Well, everything is gonna be alright. 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 So woman, no cry. Oh no, no. Don't shed no tears. No, no, woman. Woman, no cry. Hey, hey. Oh, my little sister. Don't shed no tears. No, no, woman. Woman, no cry.
Reggae today has taken a turn. I think there is sitting in. I think it's in a point of limbo right now. It's looking for a leader. Bob was definitely the leader of it in the 70s, and it's now at the point looking for another leader. And I don't think the leader is going to be any of the guys who have been around like a Jimmy Cliff or a Toots or a Peter Tosh. And I think it's going to be somebody. It's got to be somebody new, up and coming, like a Gregory Isaacs or a Dennis Brown or so. Because reggae is taking a different tone. It's into the guy. Reggae is now into that lovers rock vein. The people has had enough revolution and preaching from Marley. And they'll only accept that from Marley because they are convinced that he believes it. He lives it, he believes it.
Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong.
Amidst the lush green hills of Jamaica's heartland lies the village of 9 Mile. Next to the house where he once lived, they have built a chapel. Here they have laid him to rest in a gold coffin, dressed in a denim suit with his guitar in one hand and his Bible in the other. Outside, his followers keep watch. A single ganja plant is carefully tended. The sun glints on the Ethiopian stained glass.
Redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Oh, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fool